Hello, Herwig.
Hello, Harrison. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, thank you for your time today. So obviously, like I mentioned when we spoke previously, we're just going to have a chat today, talk about the Rethinking Plastics reputation. And the first point that I had was just to hear a little bit about yourself and the overview of the PlastFormance and your work with Find Out About Plastics as well.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation today, Harrison. My name is Herwig. I am from Austria originally, and since 2015, I'm active in the plastics industry. And prior to that, I studied polymer engineering in Austria, and did also my PhD in the field of polymer processing, injection molding. And during this time, I started the blog findoutaboutplastics.com with the motivation to show more and more people that plastics are the solution and not the problem. And over the time, so it's really grow, and we are now already in the 8th year. And there also I created the idea of my first book, Polymer Material Selection. So I can show you here, and also my monthly newsletter, Pumping Plastics. And currently, I'm heading the sales and product management activities at PlastFormance. PlastFormance is a small compounder in Bavaria, here in Germany, and we are focusing on highly filled plastics. What does highly filled mean? So more than 80 volume% in filling, and to enable materials for example, high thermally conductive application or radiation shielding. So everywhere you need high performance in such fields.
Sure. No, very interesting. And looking forward to hearing a little bit more about the newsletter later in our chat today. But I mean, to begin with, can we talk about what PlastFormance has done during you've been there for 1.5 years, so during that time to enable sustainability, and has it had any impact on the quality of the products that obviously they are manufacturing there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so we discussed that in our team, and actually I collected 5 points where we already are active in enabling sustainable solutions. And for example, the first one is lowering the all-over carbon footprint compared to, for example, aluminum solutions. I mentioned already previously, we make highly thermally conductive materials and can replace metal and aluminum heat sinks. And when you take, for example, a small 100-gram aluminum heat sink and replace that with a thermally conductive, electrically isolating compound, you can save up to 60% CO2. And this also leads me to the second point, which is also simplification of applications. So you can, when you use it, aluminum heat sinks, you always need a second layer to isolate the part because aluminum is electrically conductive. So with our compounds, you can remove also this isolation layer and save with that also material. So it is already another advantage in this direction. And the third one is lifetime, increasing the lifetime of applications. I'm thinking they're more towards bipolar plates in full cells. There you have metal and thermoset solutions, and the metal ones, they tend to corrode over some time. And this is bad, for example, for when you want to have a full cell for heavy duty trucks, you need really long lifetimes. And their thermoset and also thermoplastic solutions are better. And here we have also materials which are highly electrically conductive and increase the lifetime. And also the fourth point is also in this direction, that we have better recyclability compared to thermoset solutions, which are also used in bipolar plates, but also all over in general. Is the recycling of thermoplastic compounds then better? And a fifth point, which is really important for us, is on the production. So we run our compounding lines already with 100% green energy. So we were one of the few who started already early with this, already in 2019-20, and now also installing on the roofs of the production some photovoltaic applications. And these are these 5 points where we are already currently active to enable better sustainable solutions.
Sure, no, really interesting. Thank you. And then what about in the next 5 years within the company? And then leading on from that, obviously you do a lot of additional work with your research with Find Out About Plastics. So which areas of the industry or specific companies do you think are actually doing this best right now?
Yeah, so when I look at PlastFormance, so the next steps are to focus also, and we are currently doing that, use for the fillers, recycled fillers. So for example, use recycled ceramic fillers and combine it with recycled plastic resin itself. So there we have also already gained experience to add recycled plastics and recycled fillers in combination. And then the next step would be for the next years also to use more and more biopolymers also in the mix. So these are the areas where we, in terms of PlastFormance products, and advance further, and also then on the production. And when I look at Find Out About Plastics, what I receive and conversation with companies and people, I see more and more the trend that it is already state of the art to use, for example, post-industrial recyclates in plastic parts. And companies now pivot more and more to use post-consumer recyclates because the technologies to make the materials is evolving. So this is a major thing. Also together, for example, in the electric and electronics industry, you have this high flame retardant requirements and so on. So the industry tries to match also these requirements and also the colors, for example, that you have done certain colors. This is the one thing. And when I look at the plastic machine manufacturers, here just to name, for example, the company Engel from Austria, they developed an injection molding machine system, a two-step system, which enabled the processing of the flakes itself and not waiting for the post-recycled pellets. So there's a huge advantage when you can immediately process in your molding operations the flakes and not have to wait. And another good example from a startup is Circular, is the startup called. They focus to trace the plastic materials. So from raw material over injection molding to the part, and they use a digital twin with that. So they create really digital twins and put them on the blockchain. And this enables a complete transparent way of following then the plastic material. So this is a great innovation and will be rolled out step by step now. So this is what I see. So you see in different fields, so from material supplier, machine manufacturers, and also IT companies, they all are active with full speed in this area.
Sure, no, really interesting. And so obviously I've shared with you a quote, which I'll put on the screen now. It's quite a long one, so I won't read that out. But it basically outlines the impacts that other industries have on sustainability and the recyclability. And obviously plastic is the one that always seems to get the brunt of that. So with that quote in mind, and obviously with your knowledge and from your research in mind, does the continuous unfair bias, in your opinion, lead to losing business because companies are maybe choosing what they view as a greener alternative?
Yes, I see this more and more coming, that we need to return to more data-biased, data-based decision making, and also together with good public relation in terms of the for plastics, because as you also mentioned, and it's really scientifically proven that plastics are in most cases the greenest option, and replacing now plastic products with alternative materials such as glass or paper and so on will actually harm more the environment. And this we have to do a better job to explain also to people. And a part of this we will see it. I think it will evolve in a natural way, because when we replace plastics with this alternative material, the costs are going up, because at the moment energy, especially in Europe, Central Europe, is expensive. So this is another thing which comes into the play to go back then to plastics also. And also I checked again for PET bottles. These are really, for me, one of the best examples that if you replace that towards glass or aluminum solutions, the carbon footprint, I checked it, you have with glass, you have 4.8 CO2 equivalent. With a PET bottle, you have 1.1. And since the companies also want to fulfill their CO2 aims, they will, in my point, automatically derive again back to the greenest material, which is plastic then. So this is, I think it's a bit of a learning curve now. However, the data and the facts are clear in this direction.
Sure, definitely. And then just finally, I'm sure many of the people watching today have found what we spoke about and your insight very insightful. So where can people find out more about you? And is there any exciting projects that you've got upcoming that you think would be worth a mention?
Yeah, so I invite you all to check out my blog, findoutaboutplastics.com. You can also look me up on LinkedIn, Herwig, and also at PlastFormance.com. We have also quite some interesting data on highly filled plastics and how to use that. And since I mentioned in the beginning, my project I'm working on is the monthly newsletter, Pumping Plastics. So also invite you all to check out this. And I would like to say thank you, Harrison, for this opportunity. And I think we can convince more and more people that plastics are the solution and not the problem.
Definitely. And I think that quote there is definitely one of the main takeaways from today. All the things that you've mentioned, we will make sure they are linked when we post this, so people can find that. But yeah, once again, Herwig, as always, it's great catching up, and thank you for your time for going through these questions with us today.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Cheers.